If your wealth depends entirely on your salary, you are structurally fragile because there is a specific financial threshold, a very real, mathematical point where your investments begin generating more income than you do. And once you cross that line, something changes. Your job doesn't disappear, but it becomes optional. Not emotionally, structurally. Most people never calculate this number, which is why they continue trading time for money long after capital could have taken over. Today, I want to show you exactly when capital overtakes labor, and why crossing that line changes your leverage, your risk tolerance, and your entire relationship with work. Wealth is powered by two engines. Engine 1 is labor, your salary, your consulting income, your business revenue, your active effort. Engine 2 is capital, assets, equity, investments, ownership. Early in life, labor dominates. If you have $20,000 invested and it grows at 7%, that's $1,400 a year. That's not life-changing. Your salary is doing almost all the work. At this stage, you are the system. If you stop working, the machine stops. But capital compounds. And compounding is non-linear, which means eventually, quietly, almost invisibly, Engine 2 gets stronger. When does the shift happen? Let's make this concrete. Assume you invest $25,000 per year, and your portfolio earns 7% annually over the long run. At $100,000 invested, 7% growth is $7,000 per year. Your labor contribution of $25,000 is doing almost 80% of the work. Capital is secondary. At $300,000 invested, 7% is $21,000 per year. Now something interesting happens. Capital is generating almost as much as you are contributing. The gap is closing. At $500,000 invested, 7% is $35,000 per year. Capital is now generating more than you are adding. At $1 million, 7% is $70,000 per year. Now capital is clearly dominant. And this is the structural shift. The crossover point is the moment your capital produces more in a year than your labor can realistically add. That's when the system flips. This shift is not about retiring early. It's about bargaining power. Before the crossover, you need your job. After the crossover, you negotiate with your job. Before the crossover, losing income is catastrophic. After the crossover, losing income is inconvenient. Before the crossover, you avoid risk. After the crossover, you can take intelligent risk. Because now, even if you contribute nothing new, capital continues to expand. This is when wealth stops being something you build and starts being something that builds itself. Here's the uncomfortable reality. Most people never reach this threshold, not because they lack discipline, but because their expenses rise with their income. Every raise increases lifestyle. Every bonus increases burn rate. Every promotion raises fixed costs. And fixed costs raise the amount of capital required to generate freedom. If your lifestyle requires $120,000 per year, then at a 4% withdrawal rate, you need $3 million invested. Your crossover point keeps moving. You are running on a treadmill that speeds up with every success, which means the structural shift never arrives. Not because you failed, but because you inflated the target. There is another danger. Even when people cross the threshold, they don't behave differently. They continue optimizing for more income, more status, more accumulation, more comparison. Capital overtakes labor, but identity remains attached to labor. So they keep grinding, not out of necessity, but out of conditioning. This is what I call structural inertia. When your financial position changes, but your behavior does not. At some point, capital can cover your core life expenses, not luxuries, not extreme consumption, just stability. That is a different kind of freedom. It means you can change careers, start a business, reduce hours, take a sabbatical, walk away from toxic environments, not because you are rich, but because you are supported by ownership. Ownership reduces fragility. Salary increases dependency. And the crossover point is when ownership becomes dominant. You don't need a complicated calculator. Just compare two numbers: how much you contribute annually, how much your portfolio generates annually at a conservative return. Portfolio value times expected real return. If your annual growth exceeds your annual contributions, you cross the structural threshold. If it doesn't, you are still labor dominant. Neither is good or bad. They are simply different phases. Pre-crossover, build aggressively, increase savings rate, accumulate assets. Post-crossover, protect, optimize, design intentionally, because now the machine is strong enough to carry weight. Most people measure wealth by income, but income is temporary. Capital is persistent. Income requires effort. Capital requires time. The moment capital overtakes labor, you are no longer just earning money. You are positioned within the system differently, and that positioning matters more than any raise ever will. The real goal is not early retirement, it's structural independence. And that begins the day your assets work harder than you do. If this helped you see money differently, subscribe to Capital Explained. This channel is about understanding the machine and learning how to position yourself so you're not trapped inside it. Thanks for watching.